I don't know about you, but I love Spider-Man, and actually sure many of you do as well. Now, I've seen lately, especially 2020, 2021, more games implementing the type of shooting web or either a grappling hook type of mechanics that is similar to what Spider-Man has. Now, Plus really love this mechanic, not just because it reminds me of Spider-Man, because it introduces unique mechanics, movement mechanics that feels different when you actually play the game. It's not just like compared to running fast or jumping fast or maybe just teleporting. This is something that has more continuum to the movement, and it feels very, very satisfying to play. And in some way, it actually reminds me of when accelerating in a racing game. However, it just happens to be instead of the ground in the entire 3D space. So I can do this whatever I like, in which direction I like. Well, there are restrictions, of course, but the thing is that I have more freedom of movement in the game, and I really love it. Especially when I play Halo, I really wanted to just go and take the grappling hook and try to flank enemies and do things that otherwise would take me a bit a different approach. But with the grappling hook, it was absolutely so satisfying, and again, it just felt like a different game. Now, it happens to me even in what you see here, and this is Metric Awakens demo on the PlayStation 5 that renders a really photorealistic environment of a city in 3D, and it just looks absolutely gorgeous. And one thing that I really wanted to do is just fly like Spider-Man in this environment. Now, although this demo doesn't implement anything that close to grappling hook or web mechanics you can actually just fly with a camera and kind of play make-believe. So if you ask me what I really want, I want a virtual reality game made by Insomniac, Spider-Man of course. We can just fly through this beautiful photorealistic city. As you can see, this works so well. I just want a Spider-Man mechanics, but again, in virtual reality. I don't mind a non-virtual reality game as well, but definitely when I play in VR, I really kind of get into it. I really can feel that I'm actually controlling my movement of my body, and just using those webs or grappling hooks really make it so exciting. In my opinion, much better compared to when I play a non-VR game with this type of mechanics. I mean, the immersion of just playing around with Metric Awakens on PlayStation 5 felt so immersive. I actually played, this is part of the gameplay that I played I think like 3 hours straight in a stream. I just couldn't stop. Because of the immersion, by the way. Not that there's something interesting to do. Of course, this is not VR, but still, I was so immersed in the world, I just wanted to explore. It's amazing, just because the environment looks so realistic and immersive. So this is why I can't imagine this in VR and playing as a Spider-Man, and of course more things to do in terms of gameplay. I know it's gonna be something insane. Now, whether Insomniac will take upon them this type of project, well, that yet to be seen, but definitely there's potential there, a huge potential. Now, of course, in VR, the problem is that it can lead to motion sickness. In this game, you see a Grapple Tournament, you see this vignette, this black one. This was designed to narrow this field of view, so to reduce motion sickness. Now, this is kind of similar when you watch, for example, play a game on a regular display. If you stay very close and it kind of covers your field of view, if you're sensitive to it, you might feel motion sickness even on a regular display. But if you get further away from the display, right, and the camera is only on a relatively small part of your field of view, what you see, you feel less motion sickness or not at all. And this is probably one reason we don't see this maybe a AAA game that using this type of mechanics movement, unfortunately. But there are plenty of games that use the grappling hook mechanics, which you can try in virtual reality. This is just one example, Grapple Tournament. As you can see, it's a shooter, first-person shooter, with grappling hook mechanics, and it implemented very well. You can actually just use the grappling hook to attach to different surfaces and just flank other enemies, and just have more freedom of movement in the environment in a really unique and interesting way. Oh, this is actually, don't even aim, it's kind of like an aimbot in a way. Oh my god, Spider-Man! No! Now this is another demo, still in alpha, called Not Spider-Man. Don't ask me why it's called like that. It's available side quest, and I downloaded it and tried on the Oculus Quest 2, and basically it's kind of using the mechanics. It basically demonstrates this kind of locomotion mechanic. It's just a prototype. It doesn't work that well, but again, you see, get a chance to try more of these type of experiences and see, how well it works, and maybe, as a developer, you can actually find the right balance to really do things well. Because, for example, here, rotating the camera with the stick. But the problem is that when I rotate the camera with the stick, it wasn't that intuitive. Felt a bit awkward and glitchy. And the thing is that in virtual reality, you really don't want to adjust the camera if you want it to be natural for the player. You not just rotate the camera, because this is actually where the player is looking at. You won't start rotating. It's like taking the player's head and rotating what he sees differently compared to where the direction is actually looking at. This leads to a very awkward, of course, experience, and it's a big no-no in virtual reality. Definitely, the more experiences I try, especially in VR, the more I really want something like that. And just keep in mind that I try others that were better, others that were, gave you a really bad experience. It depends on the implementation of the locomotion mechanics by the developer. But definitely, when you see ones that actually work well, you know that there's a great potential for this, and it can be great in virtual reality. Now, if you play any of the Spiderman games on the PC non-VR games, we know that it's really fine doing some kind of nice tricks with a web, shooting a web, which I enjoy also doing in Halo with the grappling hook. So the same thing. I like flanking enemies with this. I like being able to make enemies just try to shoot at me when I move fast and see them missing. I like just changing position very, very fast and being able to just go around and melee enemies from behind. So there are really very satisfying things that you won't be able to do if you're just staring at the player in front of his eyes, and either maybe you're facing even two enemies and that it's kind of over. But when you have the grappling hook, you can just do fly over enemies and just maybe throw a grenade at two of them. They won't be able to evade if you do it fast. So really cool, kind of a funny and entertaining moments that are actually made because of these unique mechanics, movement mechanics, in VR or in a non-VR game like you see here in Halo. And the goal is, of course, to change the dynamic of the battle and introduce a mechanic that really makes you kind of think of different ways to actually outsmart your enemies. Nonetheless, I think that these mechanics will be amazing. I preferably want to see VR, but I don't think we're going to see a AAA games with this. Maybe it can be a short demo that we'll introduce, but a fully invested kind of a Spider-Man branded game made by Insomniac in VR. Well, it can be a dream for me, but I have a feeling that we won't see this again because of the problem with locomotion. Although this can be tackled in some way, I think it's really but who knows? Maybe. Of course, there isn't just Insomniac Games that can make a game like this, right? And I don't mind having a game like this that it's not carrying the Spider-Man brand, right? Something that have a similar kind of a mechanic, but a more kind of a full gameplay experience rather than kind of a short demos or prototype or other things that some developers are just playing with, which is great, of course, because this can lead to the mechanic actually implemented properly, and then developers can start working on a full game with this mechanic. So this is it. I'm super excited about this. This is the reason I'm actually sharing it. And are you actually like me, like really want to play a kind of Spider-Man-like game in virtual reality with beautiful, lively and photorealistic looking city? Again, moving in VR and just doing really cool tricks, fighting tricks while actually being in the air, or maybe a multiplayer game with that, maybe both. I think it can be amazing. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Do you think it will happen? And if you know some really good VR games and non-VR game with grappling hook, let me know in the comment section below which one you really like and think that are worth mentioning so others can try them as well. So until the next one, thanks for watching everyone. Consider subscribing to my channel. Give this one a little like. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Cheers.